facing the police every single day.
Charlotte County Sheriff Dictator Bill Prummell turning our schools from jails into prison. Because just like they did in Nazi Germany. They told the Jews, we'll keep you safe. Give us your guns. Just go into these special showers so we can delice you. Breathe deeply. What are we doing about school safety? Our school leaders highlight changes. By Elaine Allen Emmerich. Staff writer. With a new school year comes new state-mandated provisions for school safety. Most of the changes can be traced back to the passage of the Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School Public Safety Act, passed in 2018 by the Florida legislature and signed into law by former Governor Rick Scott. The Sun reached out to the Charlotte and Sarasota County school districts about changes and improvements for students and staff safety. Will police officers be on duty? In Sarasota County, the year-old school's police department provides one or more state-certified officers on duty at each campus. This year, that police department will expand in leadership and field staff. The district hired analysts, specialists, and administrative staff to assist with the 24/7 safety operations and communications. See Safety, 6A. Above. New heavy-duty doors were recently installed at Glenallen Elementary School in Northport. More schools in the district have the same safety feature, forcing visitors to use one common entry when entering the campus. Sun photos by Elaine Allen Emmerich. Right, schools in Charlotte and Sarasota counties are being secured through fencing that creates single-entry access onto campuses. Safety, mental health care resources also added to schools. From page 1A. Fingerprinting, background checks and other tactics to support the school safety plan. Charlotte County schools have Charlotte County Sheriff's deputies assigned to each campus. What new safety measures are in place? Sarasota County teachers can now initiate a lockdown if they see a threat. Schools require visitors to have an ID to enter. Schools use a Raptor system that checks for sex offenders so they aren't let inside the school. New emergency alert systems are being installed at all public schools over the coming year, and many schools have been hardened with new fences and gates. Sarasota County schools also revised security protocols to emphasize safety emergencies, including lockdown, limited lockdown, and evacuations. In Sarasota County, this replaced the color coding system of code red, code orange, etc. What is a lockdown? A lockdown is a full closure of campus where students and staff seek shelter in school. In Charlotte County, Sheriff's Patrol deputies have all taken tours of schools so they are aware of the layout of each campus. In the case of a crisis or lockdown, they will have first-hand knowledge of each school. In Sarasota County, students should expect ongoing district-wide lockdown drills conducted simultaneously at all schools, as well as random safety drills conducted at individual schools, to ensure students and staff know what to do in case of an emergency. What is a limited lockdown? The campus is closed to outside visitors and instruction continues in class. Movement on campus is limited. Both school districts also empowered anyone on campus to call for a lockdown if they witness someone or something suspicious that could do harm. How can a student or parent report suspicious activities? There's a smartphone app called FortifyFL that provides an anonymous way to report suspicious activity. Both school districts emphasize the see something, say something mantra. Sarasota County schools organized Save the Promise clubs, Students Against Violence Everywhere, in secondary schools and integrated safety intervention and assessment teams at every school through a partnership with the Sandy Hook Promise Foundation. What does the law say about safety drills? All schools must practice emergency drills and response policies. The law also requires active shooter training in schools once a semester. Participants must include students, district school safety experts, threat assessment teams, faculty, staff, and certain first responders. Regular emergency exercises for other events, including fires, natural disasters, and bomb threats, must also be conducted. How much has gone into school hardening? Sarasota County schools have new perimeter fencing, as well as a single point of entry access. New front office designs include bullet-resistant glass and metal frameworks, new locks, and many more security cameras, as well as safety improvements made to the windows in the classrooms. In Charlotte County there is new fencing, locks and gates around schools as well. Over the past 2 years, many offices and entrances have been redesigned and fitted with new bullet-resistant glass and security cameras. Mental health. The Marjorie Stoneman Douglas Act also included several provisions that strengthen mental health care and heighten awareness. Are there more resources for students? Charlotte County schools added school psychologists. A couple of schools in the district must share one. There are more guidance counselors and social works, one at each school, in district schools. There are threat assessment teams working to learn about students who might harm themselves or someone else. The team works with the school social workers. They also refer families to Charlotte Behavioral Center, which offers services on a sliding scale. The district applied for unused money in the state's Guardian Fund used to arm teachers, requesting to use the money for social workers. However, the state denied Charlotte County Schools' request for that specific grant, citing the money can only be used for the Guardian program. The Sarasota County School District employs school counselors, therapists, home school liaisons, psychologists, and social workers, but added 16 new mental health therapists in elementary schools and 6 new mental health therapists at middle schools. These contracted services are fulfilled by outside agencies who have a unique expertise of adolescent trauma. The district partnered with the National Council for Behavioral Health and trained 3 new instructors as part of the Youth Mental Health First Aid Program to provide services to students. Email, eallen@sun-herald.com. Charlotte County School Resource Officers participate in multiple school activities, giving students and parents chances to meet the deputies. Charlotte County Sheriff's Office Deputy Jamie Jones helped during the recent back-to-school night at L.A. Anger Middle School. Sun photo by Elaine Allen Emmerich.
After Adolf Hitler was appointed Chancellor of Germany in 1933, the Nazis moved quickly to control education and the schools. They recognized that a new generation of supporters would be critical to their success. Responsibility for carrying out the educational goals of the Nazi Party fell to the National Socialist Teachers League, the NSLB, the Ministry of Education, and the Hitler Youth. The NSLB was responsible for indoctrinating educators in the fundamentals of Nazi ideology. Teachers were required to attend training camps, and good teachers could be rewarded for their loyalty and dedication. Those who refused risked public humiliation or dismissal. Jewish teachers in Germany had no such choice, as they were forced from their jobs in public schools regardless of their abilities and teaching accomplishments. This was followed several years later by the expulsion of Jewish students from German public schools. The Ministry of Education developed new courses based on what the Third Reich believed students should learn, especially race science. Simply put, race science was the belief that individuals were organized into races, some inherently superior to others, and that Germans were members of a superior race destined to rule all of Europe. The Nazis viewed Jews as an inferior race that fed off the superior races like parasites and needed to be eliminated as parasites. In spite of the mandate from the Ministry of Education, teachers could use their own initiative to instruct their students in this new science. Methods ranged from subjecting students to measurements of their heads while their classmates watched, to encouraging their students to harass and bully Jews, whether in their schools or indeed in their communities. Textbooks were revised to reflect Nazi ideology, from studies on racial science to propaganda targeted at young children. The Nazis also relied on the Hitler Youth to indoctrinate a new generation. "I begin with the young," said Adolf Hitler. "With them, I can make a new world." Although the Hitler Youth resembled youth clubs that promoted camaraderie and outdoor activities, the reality was more sinister. Marching, war games, and pro-Nazi speech and song made up a larger part of Hitler Youth activities than did camping or hiking. The primary purpose of the Hitler Youth was to win over hearts and minds, mold young people into passionate believers in the Nazi cause. Action over study, unquestioning obedience over independent thought, and loyalty to Adolf Hitler above all else. With this shift in Germany's educational aims, it could be suggested that educators, students, and parents had no choice but to conform to the new order. But teachers in the Third Reich did make choices, whether because or in spite of the pressures they were now facing. At war's end in 1945, with the Third Reich overthrown and Germany under Allied occupation, the country's educational system was in shambles. Denazifying Germany's schools took years to accomplish. And as with other citizens of post-war Germany, those who had been teachers and students during the 12 years of Nazi rule struggled with the burden of each choice they had made, even when that choice was to do nothing at all.
Hey Charlotte County, this is Charlotte County COPWATCH. I am using any video here with under fair use if you have criticism, reporting, teaching, etc. And please donate. I do not make money from YouTube, and there are different ways to donate in the video links. Thanks.